What's up, everyone? DKRACK here. So I know some of you guys who are subscribed to my channel like the scary or spooky reactions, so I'm going to check out a new Mr. Nightmare video for this reaction, and it says three disturbing true office horror stories, and this is Mr. Nightmare's newest upload. I think he dropped it as I'm recording this reaction like 4 or 5 days ago, I believe. But like always, guys, I'll have a link to the original video down below. Make sure and go check out Mr. Nightmare. Show him some love and support. But I'm about to check out 3 disturbing true office horror stories. If you're new to my channel, make sure and leave a like on this video and subscribe. I would appreciate it. But let's go ahead and check out this video, guys, and not waste any more time. All right, 3 disturbing true office horror stories. Here we go, guys. Here we go. Story 1.
I work at a game development company in Orlando, Florida. It was a stressful couple of weeks for me, and I was really pressed for time before a game's deadline, so I had to stay at the office late almost every night that week. It was a rainy Wednesday night of that week. It was completely pitch black outside, with the occasional strike of lightning lighting up the place, and the sound of the rain pouring on my office window was helping me concentrate on my coding. There was one other person in the office at this point, my coworker Chaz. He was finishing up on his work as well. He was also pressed for time on a strict deadline. By now it was easily between 8 and 9 o'clock, and Chaz knocked on my office door before telling me he was heading out. He asked if I was okay locking up the place, and I told him of course. Then he was off on his merry way. I heard the front door of our company's office slam shut behind him, and with that I was alone. Our entire office is in the shape of an L. The entrance is at—
Sorry, guys, accidentally unplugged my headphones. That's why I had to pause it quick. Let me go back a few seconds to make sure I didn't miss anything.
Off on his merry way. I heard the front door of our company's office slam shut behind him, and with that I was alone. Our entire office is in the shape of an L. The entrance is at one end, and my office is down the short line of the L, basically the corner office. I had to keep myself awake as I was starting to doze off, so I went down the hall to the kitchen to heat up some coffee.
Is he gonna is he gonna fall asleep in the office and something bad happen, I wonder?
Just a little bit, enough to keep me going for another hour. I leaned on the counter by the coffee maker, waiting for it to heat up, when I heard this. The sound of a door closing. I peeked my head out into the hall to look and see if anyone was there. I called out, yielding no replies. The door sounded like one of the smaller private office doors, not the heavier front door to the entire office. I left the kitchen to walk down the 2 halls, trying all the doors, which were locked. Then I got to my little hall, and all 3 doors in this hall were shut, including mine. I left that door open 1000%, and there was no draft in here as all the windows were closed.
And now the door's freaking closed?
Like someone had to still be in the office pranking me. I opened my—
Is it Chaz? Is that the other guy he works with, Chaz, pranking him? I have a feeling Chaz left, though, and it's not Chaz. I think it's something paranormal or somebody broke into the frickin' office, I think.
Office door with force, expecting someone to be in there jumping out at me. But no. My office was how I left it. The chair, my computer, everything. It was just a little odd to me that the door closed on its own because it had never done that. But I moved past it and continued my work. The rain continued to hit the window, and the lightning continued to strike about once every minute, startling me a few times actually. Some more time passed, and it was now getting very late to still be in the office. I was content with the progress I made, so I saved all of my work and began closing down my computer. I clicked the shutdown button, then turned off the screen. The screen went black, and then I saw it. In the reflection of the computer screen, I saw behind myself a woman standing there. I don't know how I didn't jump or scream, but I felt my heart drop into my stomach.
Who the hell is she?
I didn't turn around. I just got up from my desk, calmly grabbed my bag, pretending not to have noticed, and walked to the door. I didn't look back to shut the door or anything. I walked down the hall until I thought I was far enough away. Then I booked it out the exit of the entire office. I then ran down the flight of stairs to the first floor, then out to my car in the rain. The whole time I was terrified I was being followed, or that she would grab me any second, whoever it was. Once I got in my car, I took a second to breathe. Then I looked up at the window to my office. The light was still on in there, and I'm quite sure I saw a small kink in the blinds, as if someone were on the other side looking down at me.
Oh, hell no.
One of my bosses, Miranda, at once, and she confirmed no one else should have been there. She said she'd call the night security guy and ask him to check the office. Luckily, I got to go the hell home. Later that night, Miranda called me and said the security guy was in the office but didn't see anyone. I told her what I saw one more time, and it freaked even her out. There's only one camera in our entire office, and it's at the end of the longer hall by the kitchen area. The camera footage never caught any woman walking around the office that night.
Wait, the cameras didn't catch anything. The woman. Does that mean he saw something paranormal like a ghost, and for some reason the cameras didn't pick her up because she wasn't human? Like it was a ghostly woman figure that he saw, but the cameras didn't pick up? Yo, that's freaking creepy. All right, let's move on to story number 2. That is weird.
A long time ago, I did security work in an office building in Midtown Manhattan. It was mid-November, so one of the offices was looking to start decorating their office space with Christmas decorations, which were held in the basement along with other storage. I usually stood in the lobby area of the building just as general security. It was usually an uneventful job for the most part. But on this cold November Monday, my view of this job changed entirely. An employee of this dermatology office on one of the upper levels of the building apparently had gone down to the basement and had reported that all the lights were out and that the elevator wasn't running to the basement floor. This sounded like the electrician's job, until I was also told that there were multiple broken-in doors down there, implying a break-in over the weekend. That's when it became my job to go down there and investigate. Since the elevator wasn't going down to that level, I would have to take the stairs down there. I was going down there alone since I was the only security guard on duty that day. I took a flashlight with me down there since the power was out.
I remember years ago when I worked as a security officer and I'd have to walk around this factory that I did security for, and when I was all by myself as well, and it can be creepy. When you're in a big building or doing security by yourself, walking around, it can be creepy as hell. So I understand here why this guy's probably a little creeped out.
I'd be lying if I said this wasn't nerve-wracking going down there alone.
Yeah.
On this level was just storage, electrical components, and janitorial
creepy crap.
equipment. It was a small maze of corridors with different rooms, and navigating this in the dark with nothing but a flashlight was making the hairs on my body stand up. There were different doors in the corridors, which would lead to different storage rooms for many of the different businesses that rented office spaces in the building. And the call turned out to be true. Many of these doors were bashed in. Some of them were so badly damaged that they looked like they were destroyed with an axe. This was more serious than I thought. I was just a security guard. I didn't make enough money to go searching for potentially dangerous people in the basement without a gun. I looked into...
I 100% agree. Well, it was more like 4 or 5 years ago when I was doing security. The amount of money I was getting paid was definitely not worth my life or trying to investigate some criminal activity without a weapon, just a flashlight. I would have quit the job before I put my life at risk for the amount of money I made, which was not very good. I'll just put it that way.
Each room with broken down doors.
Not worth
each room still seemed to be
your
full
life.
of supplies. I couldn't find any trace of theft, but someone clearly came down here with a purpose. I continued looking into the rooms, just peeking in for a second with my flashlight. Then I heard a slam elsewhere in the basement. And suddenly everything went dead silent. The basement noises I was hearing before, from whatever they may have been coming from, a boiler,
my
the pipes,
pants.
whatever it was.
I'm not gonna lie.
And I was now in a dead silent basement where I could hear every last sound.
Bro, your job's not worth it. Just get the hell out of there. Get the hell out of there, bro.
Every footstep I took now sounded
your job's
10 times
not worth
louder.
it.
Someone was in the basement still, evident by that slam.
No.
It may have been another door. It may have been whatever caused the noises to stop. Stupidly, I called out anyone here, and my voice echoed down the corridor. I continued slowly back the way I came. I wasn't staying down there another moment. This was a job for NYPD at this point.
I
was
agree.
Almost to the stairs.
Call the police.
This heavy breathing
Call
coming up from
the
around
police.
the final corner.
It's not worth
I
it.
instantly knew it to be heavy breathing. I was scared shitless.
Ugh.
Why was I put in this situation? I turned off my flashlight and tiptoed just a little closer to look around the corner. And weirdly, the breathing stopped. I said hello?
Is there an actual person down there, or is this like some paranormal crap? I think it's an actual person who broke in, but like he said, call the police. This is not your job. You don't even have a weapon. Call the cops and get the hell out of there, bro. Just get out of there.
And turn the flashlight back on.
For sure.
Even though the light wasn't aimed exactly in that direction, I still easily saw this extremely tall, hunched over figure facing the wall with some kind of long object that could have been a weapon in his hand.
Maybe it's not human.
I say his because there was no way a person this big and this stature could have been a woman. I also saw their face turn in reaction to the light. It was this pale, abnormally long face. I think they were bald. Another reason I say it was a man, but I didn't look too long. I ran past the figure to the stairs, screaming back at him that the cops are coming, you need to leave now. I ran all the way back up the stairs, through the basement door, then locked it and called 911. A bunch of NYPD cars came, and it was a big thing. At least 4 police officers went down there. I felt pretty useless, I have to say, but removing a dangerous, armed, giant human from the basement with the lights off was not in my job description.
Bro, you did nothing wrong. Calling the police is exactly what I would have done when I did security. You did nothing wrong. I work security, and I know you're not paid. You're not paid well enough to deal with something like that. Lock the door, call the police. You did everything 100% correct, in my opinion. Like I said, it's not worth your life when you don't have a weapon on you.
I was in the lobby when the officers came back, alone. They didn't have that person I saw with them.
What?
They couldn't find him. One of the building's electricians came to fix the electrical issues in the basement. It had something to do with the circuit box in the basement being tampered with. With the lights back on, police still couldn't find anyone down there. There are multiple stairways back upstairs from the basement, which he may have left through. Everyone believed what I saw, though. Those doors didn't smash themselves open. I took sick days the next few days, and every night for a week, I'd lay awake, constantly checking around my room in the dark, scared I'd see some giant figure standing in one of the corners.
Dan, that situation made that poor security guard paranoid. He said for what? Would he say a couple days or a couple weeks he would wake up and look around his room? Like not even where he worked, where the situation happened. He was paranoid at home. He was waking up looking around. Damn, that poor guy. He's freaking terrified as I would have been too. I would have been terrified as well. Story 3. All right. Man. Creepy.
I held my first job ever in 2002, and I worked at a call center during the graveyard shift. The office was in Makati, and it was a new site. The office layout was kind of in an elongated donut shape, with the donut hole being the elevator lobby / main doors, and the actual office space composed of 2 long hallways and 2 shorter ones. It was also a new site, so only half the office was finished, and the other half was still under renovation. So one long half of the donut was a fully operational production floor with managers' offices and a pantry, while the other long half was reserved for things like conference rooms, the nurse's office, storage, other admin stuff, restrooms, etc. And it was all unfinished. The conference room still had concrete floors, and wires were still sticking out from sockets and all that. While the production half was nice and bright and well lit, as any call center should be, the other half was only partially lit. To make matters worse, the guards would turn off the lights completely on that side, since they figured nobody was using it anyway. As a result, people didn't really hang out on that side of the office, and if you needed to use the restroom, you just kinda had to make a mad dash to and from it. 2 weeks into production, and my teammate, who was obviously very sickly to begin with, had a terrible migraine, and I suggested that she tell our team leader about it so that she could take a break. TL then told her to go visit the nurse's office, located in the unfinished half of the office, something we figured out only because of the sign above the door that we see whenever we go to the restroom. I was to accompany her, so that's what we did. We walked to the nurse's office, but found that the door was locked and nobody was inside, even though the lights were on.
Hold on one second. I worked at a call center years ago. What call center has a nurse's station? I've never heard of a call center or a place that has like a nurse's station if you're not feeling well. Normally, if you don't feel well, your ass just goes home early or you take the day off work. I've never heard of a call center having a nurse's station. That's interesting for sure.
The door was the type with one
Definitely
of those vertical
interesting.
window panels on it, so we peeked in to make sure nobody was in there. We saw all the medical equipment and a sick bed, a desk, basically everything you'd expect to find in there, except the nurse. Thinking maybe he or she just went on break, we decided we'll just come back later. After half an hour or so, we did go back, only to find that the light at the nurse's office was off. I remember us being pretty pissed off at the thought that maybe the shift nurse had gone home.
They just
We
left?
checked the door anyway to see
what
if
the
maybe
hell?
there would be a sign or note with the nurse's schedule or whatever. I don't know why I did it, but I tried the door handle despite being aware there was no light on, and I was able to open the door to find that there was no nurse's office, despite the sign above the door saying that that's where it was supposed to be.
Ooh.
And yes, that was the only sign. We checked over and over to make sure it was the right room. We were sure it was the same room we visited earlier. But instead of a decked out clinic, we found a room with a small nightlight in an exposed socket that cast only enough light for us to see the walls and floors were concrete. There were no finishes, no
What
beds,
the
no cabinets,
hell?
nothing.
Oh.
It's like we dreamed up the clinic we saw earlier. A guard approached us at that point, asking what we were doing poking around in an unfinished clinic. So we told him what happened, and he of course thought we were making it up. While we were kind of trying to convince him that we weren't lying, we all suddenly stopped talking. When we felt the temperature just drop, we shivered. Our hair stood on end.
Paranormal.
My heart started racing.
Something
Nobody could
paranormal.
speak for a minute.
It got cold.
Finally, my teammate burst into hysterical tears, and the guard then nervously shooed us away and locked the door to the supposed nurse's office. We were escorted back to our team's bay, and we explained what happened to our team leader. He pretty much just sat there stunned as he listened to us. Since my teammate wouldn't stop crying and was starting to hyperventilate very badly, they had to send her to Makati Med.
They just imagined
the
it
incident
all.
was
What?
never brought up again. If you're a fan of horror,
Yo, that is freaking weird. Oh, I think this is like a promotion thing at the end. So they imagined the whole thing at the end. They just like pictured or imagined in their head that there was a nurse's clinic, but really there was nothing there? Like, what the actual hell? But all right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this reaction. New Mr. Nightmare video, 3 disturbing true office horror stories. Like I said, guys, link to original video down below. If you enjoyed this reaction, make sure and smash the like button. Subscribe to my channel if you're new. If you have any other videos you want me to do a reaction to, just leave a request down below in the comments. But again, thanks for watching, guys. And until next time, peace.